Good morning. My name is Mr. Clayton, and I'm the principal here at Schofield Magnet Middle School. Welcome to the 2020-21 sixth grade orientation. I am joined by my assistant principal, Ms. Gardner, our teacher leader for student support, Mr. Fetchin, my two school counselors, Mrs. Fox for the white team and Mrs. Benenson for the turquoise team. A little bit about me. I've been married for 20 years. I have 4 great kids, a senior, a sophomore, a 7th grader, and a 3rd grader. I served in the United States Army. My 2 favorite sports teams are the Philadelphia Eagles and the Red Devils of Manchester United. I've seen the Dave Matthews Band probably more than 40 times live in concert. I have a bachelor's degree in history from Western Connecticut State University, a master's degree in secondary education from the University of Bridgeport, a second master's degree in educational leadership from Sacred Heart University, and I earned my superintendent's license from Central Connecticut State University. I just can't get enough of school. I've been a social studies teacher at both the high school and middle school level. I actually used to teach here at Schofield and at Rippewam back in the late 1990s. I left the district for, I think, 7 years to be a high school assistant principal at Newtown High School in Sandy Hook, Connecticut. I have been the principal here at Schofield for the last 9 years. So, 2020-21 school year. It is time for us to chart a new course. And what better image to use to orient ourselves to a new environment than a compass? We have some very, very simple goals here this year at Schofield. Safety, obviously, is very important in such an unusual time in our history. We want to have good connections between home and school. We need to maintain good mental and physical wellness and health. And above all, it's very important that we maintain and improve relationships between staff and students. Anybody know who this is? Well, if you don't, this is P.T. Barnum. P.T. Barnum and I were born in the same hometown. And one of his most famous quotes is, "Welcome to the greatest show on earth." I can assure you, moms and dads, being a middle school principal is like having a front row seat to the greatest show on earth. In addition, middle school I often refer to as a handoff, very similar to the 4x100 meter relay race. While I was a teacher, I was also a track and field coach at West Hill High School. And the most difficult handoff to teach runners was the second handoff in the 4x100 relay race. For those of you unfamiliar to track and field, that's the handoff that takes place on the far side of the track, the furthest away from the finish line, where there are no cheering moms and dads and relatives. It's also very difficult because that handoff takes place on an angle. Middle school is a very, very difficult, challenging life for all of us. And I can assure you, there is not a person out there who would categorize their time in middle school as the best time of your life. Middle school can be difficult, and it's our job as teachers and educators to help you all through that environment. So here at Schofield, this is our mission statement. This has been our mission statement since 1994. It's very important, and we like to keep it that way. I'm not going to read the whole thing to you, but I would like to point out some very important words: heterogeneous and homogeneous groupings. I'll explain that a little bit later. And also the interdisciplinary approach to learning with a special emphasis on math, science, and technology. So, very simple, folks. Schofield, it's very different here. Respect, responsibility, honesty, tolerance, accountability, dedication, self-discipline, kindness, courage, and integrity. These are very important components of what the environment is here at Schofield. You'll see these images around our building, and they're very important to the culture and climate of this building. So, curriculum here at Schofield. We are fortunate in that Schofield teachers teach in the honors level curriculum to all students. We do not track students or level them. There are a couple of different district exceptions like 8th grade math and district level requirements for Spanish. Groupings. Moms and dads and students, you'll come to learn this over time. Students are grouped and regrouped here on a regular and ongoing basis. You won't be in the same classes with the same students all the time. You'll be on the same team, but within that team, you'll mix and match on a regular basis. Grade level teams. Each team is divided up into each grade level, is divided up into two teams. Teams, science, math, language arts, social studies, art, and technology. Those are academic courses. Art and technology are classes that you will have 5 days a week. Some of the programs that you will use, Scratch, Photoshop, InDesign. We have some 3D printers here in the building. Teams will remain together for 3 years. And as I said before, we have flexible scheduling and heterogeneous grouping. I'll explain more of that later. So a very, very important aspect of Schofield. Here at Schofield, since 1994, we have had a daily advisory program. What the heck is advisory, you might ask? The purpose is right there, to provide students an opportunity to establish a healthy adult connection with one particular teacher in a small group setting. The advisor is the student's primary conduit for all things Schofield. Also, parents, the advisory teacher serves as your primary contact person for anything related to your child. If the advisory teacher can't help you out, they'll point you to the school counselor and, if necessary, to the administration. We have school-wide themes in advisory that are developed by our advisory committee and then implemented by the grade level advisory teachers. I'll show you some images of that in just a few minutes. So, another very important aspect of Schofield is our behavioral motto of expectations. You can read it right there for yourselves. Set high expectations, meet personal academic goals, model positive behavior, show respect, and demonstrate personal responsibility to our community. SMMS. This image is decorated throughout our hallways, throughout our classrooms, and is read over the intercom every morning during morning announcements right after the Pledge of Allegiance. A very important aspect of Schofield that makes us very unique. Almost one of the only schools, I believe, in all of New England to have or to not have any bells that signify the beginning of the day or the end of the day, or even the beginning of the period or the end of the period. In my opinion, the bell is an artificial stoppage of learning. Our grade level team teachers with block scheduling, they determine the schedule that best will fit your child's needs. So another important aspect, anyone out there who happens to be a teacher, we have daily common planning time here for all of our teachers, where they work together to devise and develop lesson plans that are of an interdisciplinary nature. Those times are also dedicated if we need to have a parent meeting for any reason. So, as I said before, teams determine the makeup of the heterogeneous classes throughout the year, and on a regular and ongoing basis, students are grouped and regrouped based on various academic needs. The only aspect of our schedule that's not a block schedule with fixed times are our physical education and health classes, music, and Spanish classes. They follow a standard daily schedule of 45 minutes per class. You'll learn more about that on the first day of school when your advisory teacher gives you your schedule. These are some important images, or well, the great images of students engaging in different activities here in the school. It is my genuine hope that we can do some of these activities this year. You can see our pumpkin decorating contest that we have for Halloween. We have an annual spring carnival. We take our students to Sound Waters where they go out in the canoes. Every year, as part of our team building, teamwork philosophy, we bring in Stanford Police, Stanford EMS, Stanford Fire to talk about and teach students the importance of teamwork and how that is important in the real life situations. And that center picture there, we have sixth grade does have a cultural fair in the springtime, usually in the middle of March. Okay, this is really more for moms and dads, but maybe some students, you should be interested in this too. We have an academic focus here on Schofield that is on literacy across the content areas. You just don't read or learn to read in language arts class. You learn to read in all of your different academic and courses. So we have 5 very, very important literacy practices that our teachers employ to make your kids better readers and better students overall. Actively construct scientific vocabulary to facilitate understanding. Directions are modeled and broken down and placed in view for referral. We utilize instructional tools like graphic organizers. We have literacy-rich classroom environments to the best extent possible. Obviously, we had to make some adjustments because of our Department of Public Health reopening guidelines. And we have a focus on increasing the use of informational and nonfiction text. One of the most important aspects of this slide is that we want students to use high-level vocabulary in the manner in which they speak or define or write papers. So, similarly, students, you will see these posters displayed in every classroom in the building. This is called Webb's Depth of Knowledge. My expectation as a principal is that when your teachers ask you questions, they ask you questions from the DOK3 and the DOK4 posters. Don't get me wrong, 1 and 2 are still very important. Fact recall, obviously you need to know what happened before you can define why it happened. However, DOK 3 and 4 are what we call higher order thinking questions. So we're not going to get into this too much. You'll learn more about this as you get into 8th grade, but a hallmark of Schofield and a project which my staff and I have presented at regional and national conferences is the 8th grade capstone called the exhibition. This is a mandatory graduation requirement for all Schofield students. The focus is on technology. 4 components: research paper, oral presentation, creative, and a visual. Despite the fact that we had the shutdown last year, we still were able to have exhibition, and the presentations were in a recorded format similar to what I'm doing right now. 8th grade exhibition is also fostered through the interdisciplinary process beginning all the way down in grade 6. So just some little accolades for moms and dads and students. We're very proud of our achievements over the years. You'll see there's a banner in the front of our school. We are noted as a spotlight school for effective middle level practices by an organization known as the New England League of Middle Schools. I've presented at the conference a couple of times, and so have my teachers. The Connecticut Association of Schools has noted Schofield twice in the past 6 years for having exemplary teaming practices. We do have a loose partnership. It's a little strained now over the past year or so with a Chinese sister school in Shandong University. We've hosted 3 visits, 2 of which when I was principal, where 15 to 20 teachers and students have visited Schofield, and we have sent teachers to our sister school in 2011 and 2012. We had plans to return there last fall, but it's very expensive and it takes a great deal of planning to do. The Connecticut State Department of Education has noted Schofield that our high needs students population outperform state averages in not only in Stanford, but across Connecticut. And some years ago, it's probably about 8 years ago, we received over $200,000 grant from Hewlett-Packard for some additional technology here in the building, some of which that we still use. So what does it all mean? I don't like to focus too much on this, but this is Schofield's achievement in comparison to the rest of the district in general reading comprehension. These are normed, standardized tests. We're very proud of this. Not to say that my colleagues work really, really hard. We feel here at Schofield that our methodology of no tracking, heterogeneous grouping, bell schedule and block schedule, no bell schedule and block scheduling is an effective way to move students to a higher degree of educational achievement. This goes back a couple years ago. Obviously, there were no state standardized test scores last year, but consistently over the years, Schofield students have performed very well. Of course, there's always room for improvement, no doubt. We've always performed very well around the state and in comparison to the district. So listen, we're not all business here at Schofield. This is a kind of a silly picture here. We have an annual ugly sweater day, right, generally around the holiday season in December. We do have our fair share of fun here at Schofield, or at least make the learning exciting for children. However, I'm a tough principal. I make my staff read books. These are some of the books that I've asked the teachers to read over the last few years. And we generally have very good discussions and educational learnings and understandings after we have read these books. Two of these books, The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind, we had the whole entire staff read, and all of the above, the author actually came to Schofield a couple of years ago. All right, moving on. Sorry. All right, whoops, sorry. Let me go back a second. All right, here we go. Entering Schofield. This is for moms and dads out there. Safety is our number one priority. It actually is my most important priority for every day. I ask that when you come to Schofield, you just ring the buzzer one time if you need to come in. Obviously, we are in a state of pandemic right now, and we are not allowing any visitors into the building. All right, that's just a standard procedure. However, if you do, for some reason, need to come in the building, just ring the buzzer one time. Give your name and the reason for your visit, and you report directly to the office. And in some cases, you may be asked to show an ID if we're not sure who you are. And please, folks, just be respectful. The office staff and the security staff are very busy during the day, and they do their best to triage visitors to the building and to help you as best as they can. Okay, need to leave early? Need to pick your child up? Very, very simple, moms and dads. Send your child in with a note. Your child should bring that note to the main office as soon as he or she arrives in the building. We will issue your child a dismissal pass, and your child will just be in the office when you get to the school. They'll leave class at the particular time, and they'll be waiting for you. There's no need to come and buzz them out or anything like that. And we will escort your child to the front door so we can eliminate the need for traffic in and out of the building. And I ask you, please, 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 interruptions to classrooms are disruptive, to be quite honest with you. We'd ask that you please not pick up your children within 15 minutes of the end of the school day. Instructional time is very important to here in Schofield, and we do not like to interrupt classes for any reason. Okay, I sent this out in a communication a couple days ago. Sorry that you all weren't able to open it. I do have this posted on our website. If you're driving your child to school, here is the map on how you can navigate the back parking lot. It's very important, folks. Please do not drop your children off prior to 7:45. 7:45 is the beginning of the school day, and I can't guarantee student safety if your child can't get into the building before then. Oops, go back one. All right. What to expect the first day of school. Number one, check the parent portal for your child's advisory teacher name. I know the other day the parent portal was inadvertently opened up. We've made some changes in the past couple of weeks just because of blue and green and cohorting and things like that. Later on in another video, you're going to actually meet your advisory teachers or see who the advisory teachers are. So the first day of school, you'll meet your advisory teacher, you'll meet your team teachers, and you'll meet exploratory teachers. That's obviously a big change from elementary school, where you went from having basically one teacher all day. Here in middle school, you'll have up to 6 to 7 teachers every day. You will also take a tour of the building on your first day of school. You're going to learn your schedule, and most importantly, you're going to meet new friends. There are students in this building from every elementary school in Stanford and a number of private schools from around the area. And many parents have asked, there is no need to bring all of your school supplies in your backpack on the first day of school. It's not necessary. All right. Bring some pens and pencils and a notebook and your lunch. And there's also lunch available if you choose to get your lunch, as well as breakfast. There is no need to bring a laptop or a Chromebook on the first day of school. Okay, what's next? In a follow-on video, you will meet and see all of the 6th grade teachers, as well as all of our exploratory teachers and various support staff. So let's look at some images of the school. All right, you can see that's our very fine, awesome media center. Not sure how much we're going to be able to use the media center this year. You will certainly be able to use the computers. Yeah, that picture right there, that's a highlight of middle school. Getting your locker. I'm sorry, guys. We can't give out lockers, at least for the first semester. So that's why you're going to be allowed to carry backpacks. I hope that by January we can issue lockers to everybody in the building. That's like I said, that's a highlight of middle school. All right. That's a really awesome student mural that was painted in our main lobby. Yeah, you heard me. Students painted that with the assistance of one of our art teachers. There is an awesome science lab. All of our science labs have lab tables where you're going to do some really cool experiments this year. And in science, for example, at Schofield, we believe very strongly in actually doing science, not just talking about science. And I'll some follow-on images to show you. We have a partnership here with an organization called the Sandy Hook Promise. Start with hello. It's a campaign that we began last year. It's really simple. When you see someone in the hallway, you say hello, and you make a connection with your fellow classmates. There's another image of one of our really, really awesome computer labs where you're going to do, you're going to work on projects using GIS, InDesign. You're going to learn the whole Google suite. It's really a remarkable lab that we have, or labs that we have. You're also going to learn some basic programming. Hopefully you're going to learn to program some little robots and have them, roll down the hallway. That's our really, really awesome courtyard. That's probably one of the most underutilized spaces in our building. This is also our second floor atrium. Some students will actually have lunch in the atrium this year. Okay, other cool pictures. Last year, up here in the top corner is the Chief Justice of the Connecticut State Supreme Court. He came here to Schofield and spoke to sixth graders after they read a book called Mississippi Trial 1955, and he read a portion of the book to sixth grade. That was actually on, I believe, March 11th, right before we shut down. Another picture on the top. This is students in eighth grade last year on the Appalachian Trail. Very important trip for all of eighth grade as we hike a portion of the Appalachian Trail over in Bear Mountain, New York. Down there in the bottom, you see that's our awesome dodgeball tournament that I think also happened on like March 9th of last year. And then here you have our students, Schofield students, have consistently won top scores at the annual Fairfield County Law Day essay writing contest. Okay, keep going. You see those eggs right there? We hatched those eggs here at Schofield. We bought an incubator and we hatched and we raised some eggs. It was actually pretty cool. That center picture there is DNA sequencing in another science class. There's also an image of our really awesome annual Veterans Day ceremony that we have in November. Not so sure the status of that this year, but we're gonna hope for it. Down there on the bottom left, that is one of the coolest science experiments that seventh graders do. This is how the dissection of chicken wings. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe moms and dads, you don't think it's so cool. Kids really, really are into it. We're not going to watch a video of it. We're not going to see a demonstration of it. We want kids to be doctors. We want them to be scientists and get in there and see the comparisons between the chicken wing and the human arm. And there's me eating lunch with some sixth graders last year. I think they're seventh graders this year. I have my mopine on to make sure that I don't get my nice suit all dirty. And there is my buddy Jacob there. He was principal for the day last year. Okay, thanks for visiting, folks. This is, like I said, sixth grade orientation. I'm going to have some follow-on videos of meeting your teachers and some other information on the school. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out here at Schofield. There's our website, magnetmiddle.org. You can follow us on Twitter at Schofield Magnet. I look forward to seeing all of you next week, whether you're green or whether you're blue, on Tuesday and Wednesday. Welcome to Schofield. Have a great year.